Welcome back to another episode of my spare room series. I'm going to kind of get this one going straight off the bat. I did record it last week, but I'm still not great at YouTube, and I kind of just left it and didn't edit it or anything. Not that my editing skills are anything special at all. So yeah, leg day today, or last week, but today, confusing. I did a fairly good wrap up. I've just had to watch it again directly after my leg session, so a lot of the kind of information's in there, and obviously I'm going to do my normal commentary through the video as well. So let's get stuck straight into it. I hope you enjoy it. Again, thank you for everyone for watching, and here comes leg day in the spare room. Here we go again then. So some background commentary for you. No one has said that they hate it. No one has said that they love it either, but I'm going to keep going because it at least explains the sessions and gives a little bit of information across. So I didn't want to bore you guys too much with this sequence to begin with. I'm just demonstrating on one leg these exercises, but obviously I do them on both. So I don't have access to anything to fire up my glutes or to really work my glutes too hard. I've never used a booty band before and will probably not use one again after lockdown. However, they have certainly served a purpose to activate, generate some blood flow, and just generally warm me up. I feel when my glutes are fired up, I work really well, with hip hinge movements, with squatting movements. I feel a lot more braced, a lot more stable. So they have their place. I don't think they're, anything to write home about, but, in needs of very limited equipment, I like to use them, obviously. So yeah, I do the abduction single leg, the kickback single leg, and then into this the double leg glute bridge, which the band on here is surprisingly tough. I was very impressed. These are from Bear Grips. So the first one I used was the light band. This one is the heavy band. And again, the focus here internally is how much tension, how much contraction can you actually put on the glutes. Towards the end of the sets, the reps get a little bit quicker because generally the pump and the fatigue was really kicking in. So yeah, I was happy enough with what I managed to achieve with these. Again, just demonstrating the one leg here because otherwise this would be a pretty boring video, or even more boring, should I say. So, single leg hamstring curl, attachment to the bottom of the door, and then I've got some cuffs that I put around my ankle. These again are from Bear Grips if you're interested in getting them. I also have a yoga wedge under or just above my knee. Reason being is it just elevates that knee slightly and allows me to kind of think more about driving the hips down. Obviously, when we're in hip extension, we're going to work more through the hamstring, and yeah, it feels really good. So on this set, I did a rest pause set. So this first push here was the failure, taking the reps kind of as far as I could with, this controlled eccentric here, really fighting that movement. Then I'm going to take 10 breaths, rest, into the next phase here, and then from there again I'm going to push to failure, and I think I've got maybe 5 or 6 reps to finish off with. So again, a very simple procedure just to kind of extend the set, but it allows me to get a good amount of work done without doing multiple sets. It's a fairly basic looking movement. The hamstrings were certainly fatigued and working here, and it's something that I've kept in throughout lockdown. And I feel as an isolation movement is probably the best hamstring one you can do. So another hamstring kind of isolation movement you could say is this lying towel hamstring curl. I don't know, it could have a number of names, which I've seen people do, I think, in the past, and I tried this at the beginning of lockdown, and oh my god, if you've not tried it, it is surprisingly humbling. So I've managed to kind of get more and more reps week on week, and it has been something that I can, push to failure, and it, yeah, like I said, when you feel an exercise working, I stick to that and I'll work well with it. Again, I'm doing another rest pause set on this. As I said just a minute ago, it just allows me to take 2 failure points, a short period of work time, and really kind of getting everything out of that exercise before I move on. So yeah, rest pause coming up, 5 or 6 reps again to failure, really trying to get the most out of that contraction at the top. You'll notice I drive the hips up or try to. So it's not just a kind of knee movement. Again, we're thinking about hip extension to get the hamstrings fully engaged. So a more typical hamstring movement now. I know there's often debate. I often get asked, do you do stiff legs on your pull days or your leg days? I've generally done them on my leg day, but I also program them for clients on pull days if it suits. Now, I have limited weight here. So this was kind of my top set. Again, just focusing on really controlling the movement, trying to feel that stretch in the hamstrings. On this, we're thinking about the lengthened and mid-range position of the hamstrings, putting stress and tension through there. And yeah, just a nice staple kind of movement that I used to do in the gym and I can still do now, which felt great. Again, I think I got an extra rep or two on this from last time, which was good for me, and happy days. So the split squat. Now, I hate split squats in terms of they are very hard. And although I encourage people to do the hard things, it's one movement I have neglected in the past, favouring sort of machines and other things when I've access to the gym. Since lockdown, these have been the staple movement for me. I've got better at them, I've got stronger, and they feel more natural to me now. Again, I'm just showing you guys one leg here. But I'm using the heaviest band I've got. Again, that's going to place a lot of tension as I get into that fully extended position. And then from there, I drop the band, I get my balance just about, and I go into a body weight set to failure. The kind of overall leg stress on that front leg, quads, glutes, hamstrings, everything at this point is really kicking in, and I hate them, but I love them at the same time. And I'm extremely grateful that I've kind of pushed on with these throughout lockdown, because they've definitely helped maintain my sort of leg size and leg conditioning as well. So to finish the session, I've got a superset for you guys coming up here. We got wall sits into a banded hack squat, which you'll see in a minute. Now, I have quite good quads, if I don't say so myself, so they're not necessarily priority. You'll notice that realistically, the majority of the session's been hamstring and glute orientated. The split squats, the quads are kicking in there. But this is the sort of main, I suppose, compound isolation work for quads. So wall sits, I don't do it for time. What I do is I do 20 deep breaths. Generally, I find that pretty consistent. I'm not even sure how long it lasts, but it seems to be going on a while. I do apologize if you're getting bored. But from there, I'm then going to go into a hack squat. So for that, I get a foam roller. I'm going to place that just above my bum. And then I'm going to get this band over my neck, which I do very, very smoothly. You can tell I'm a smooth operator on this one. But I am quite tired, so bear with me. But from here, obviously, I'm then just going to place the roller where I said, and then perform a nice squat. You can get good range. Again, because of the positioning, there's minimal kind of forward tilt at the hip, so minimal kind of hip, hamstring, glute involvement, and we can really keep the tension on the quads, full range through here. As the band, as you go up and the band gets tighter, that places more tension. So again, we're keeping that tension on the quad in a really good way. I just do 2 rounds of this, pushing both sets of the hack squats to failure, and trust me about it, I know about it, and it hurts a lot. And finally, when I got my breath back from that last brutal set, just a little bit of calf work, 4 sets of, I think it's 15 to 20 reps on this, one leg at a time, holding the dumbbell. So there's a bit of weight through there. Obviously my body weight is fairly substantial as well, and focusing on that contraction. Again, just nothing complicated, but probably the best exercise you can do in this situation with what kit I had available. A little posing for you lucky people, just to show that legs can be held throughout lockdown in terms of size. And I feel like I might have lost a little bit of size, but I'm still very happy with where I'm currently at with these. Oh, right, gonna do a little conclusion video straight away. I literally just finished doing those single calf raises. So hopefully that was interesting for some. My programming is sort of developed throughout lockdown as I've kind of found out what works and what doesn't. You know, you'll notice that on the whole that session was, you know, quite light on the quads. My brain's not working yet. Quite light on the quads. I don't do any leg extensions, and initially I started doing them with the bands, single leg, but personally I don't feel amazing doing them, and I'd rather spend my energies elsewhere on stuff that really hurts. I hate split squats, but I can feel them working really well. They've come on leaps and bounds. And the superset with the wall sits and the hack squat, until you've tried it, or the banded hack squat, until you've tried it, you don't quite realise how demanding something, you know, fairly simple looking can be. But the session in itself, I was really happy with. I have a few things where I'm sort of aiming for progression. So obviously my stiff leg deadlifts, although I'm limited with weight, I did more reps this week. The hack squats at the end, I did more reps there than last week. The split squats, I did more reps. Single leg, hamstring curl, more reps. The lying towel hamstring curls, more reps. So pretty much everything in there has some element of progression that I can still achieve even in this, you know, even in my spare room. You'll notice at the beginning I used a little booty band, probably get ripped to shreds for that, but it's part of it. You know, for me, I've got no way of directly isolating my glutes. I've not got any fancy abductor machines or glute machines. So something as basic as that, it's not going to build tissue, but it helps me set up, do some isolation work. And I've always felt better when I've done some glute work. You know, I've gone on about how my lower back in particular can be a bit of an iffy subject, and doing glute work prior to legs, especially on the stiff legs, really helps everything kind of feel good. So that's the main reason behind that. I'm sure I've probably forgotten something else that I wanted to say, but like I said, my brain is not functioning yet, and it won't be for a few hours. But I really hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, now it's finished, and I've got another 5 days before I can do it all again. But no, thank you all so much. Thank you for watching. Really hope that you're enjoying the spare room series. Thank you for the new subscriptions. Thank you for all the comments and likes. Honestly, it does mean the world. I've been a bit more consistent with YouTube now, and I plan to keep it that way. But just to have that support is really, really cool. So thank you all very much. And now I've only got one more session to show you guys, which is my arm session, which I'm not going to look forward to because I don't like my arms. But, you know, for the sake of transparency and being honest, I'll put it on here in the coming weeks. So take care. I'm going to go have a nap, have some food, and die.